Okay. Last class we discussed about exception handling. Okay, how to handle exceptions and throw proper error messages. Okay, for that what we did, we in each page repository, okay, we put that code in try catch block. Okay, so if element is found without any exception, that is returned. If it is not found, that means exception is thrown. Okay, in that case we are catching that exception and returning null. Once a null value is returned, in the main case we are actually checking for not null condition. Okay, for example, this is sign in button, this is a web element. So first, using this page object repository object, we are looking for that element. Suppose for sign in button, we are looking for that sign in button element. For that we are passing driver object. Okay, so inside that, as we just saw, if that is found, that element is returned. If that is not found, that means some exception is thrown and null is returned. So that means this value will be null. Here in the next step, we are asserting that this value is not null. Okay, that means uh, if it is null, this condition fails. Okay, and your assertion fails, your test case fails. Okay, your test case fails only when your assertion fails. Okay, so if this is null, this assertion fails and the next lines will not get executed. Okay, simply we have written one before method. Okay, there we are closing that, quitting the driver. Okay, so when everything goes fine. Okay, so first thing is, for every web element we added the try catch block. Okay, when that is element is found, we return that element. When that element is not found, we return null. Okay, after every element we are asserting that value of that element is not null. Okay, if that fails, okay, then your test case fails. If that passes, that means this value is not null, that means the button is found. Okay, that web element is found. We continue with next steps. Similarly for other elements too. See, there is email field. For email field also, okay, we are asserting that that value is not null. Okay, so suppose all elements are found properly and no exceptions are thrown, at the end driver will be quit. That means that browser window will be closed. But it at any step, if an assertion fails, then the next steps will not get executed. Okay, in that case your driver.quit will not get executed. That means your driver window will be open. So that is not the case of clean exit. So our test case should handle all such scenarios. For that, what we did, if we go to this tests, I think I added it in. Okay, see, I have added one after method. Okay, so that means okay, what I did, I declared that variable outside. Okay, so so this web driver should not be local driver. Local, I mean local variable. Okay, okay, that means, so now I have introduced an after method. This after method will check whether the driver is not yet closed. If it finds that driver is not closed yet, it simply execute the driver.quit command. Okay, so now our driver object, okay, this driver object should be accessible among multiple methods. Okay, this after method is one method, this @test is also one method. Okay, they are just method. So in order for a uh, variable to be accessed across all methods, you need to make it global variable. Okay, or class variable. Okay, So if that variable is declared inside any method, that is local variable, that is only accessible within that method. Okay, if that variable need to be accessible among multiple methods present in the class, then you need to make it as class variable or instance variable. Okay, so this is about exception handling. Okay, so see, for I have introduced proper error messages. Okay, in if any test case fails with some reason fails, then I am throwing proper error message. This is custom message. Okay, by just looking at that message, one can understand what exactly went wrong. Okay, if you don't catch exceptions, okay, if you don't do exception handling, okay, then your test case fails with complete stack trace, sometimes which sometimes may not be uh, people may not understand what's the exact error by just looking at the stack trace. Okay, so in order to avoid such cases, we need to do proper exception handling. Okay, I did that in actual test case. Okay, as well as page repository. Okay, and throwing custom messages. Okay, so today we'll start with uh, the third aspect. Okay, so first day we actually decided the approach. We have um, then we created a Maven project, created folder structures. Okay, then we did all dependencies. Okay, then we in the second class we have written few tests. Okay, um, test. Uh, so in the first class itself we have written tests. Okay, in the second class we actually converted them into test-ng tests. Then we introduced exception handling, all the stuff. Okay, okay. Next important thing is, so WebDriver factory page object model, we saw this. We I have in third class, in previous class I have implemented this waits, explicit waits. Okay, don't worry if people don't understand, we can have this third class again. Okay, then clean exit of driver. Okay, these are all multiple aspects we are dealing one by one. Okay, first we have created WebDriver factory where we just pass browser name. This browser factory takes care of invoking the browser of your choice. Okay, then page object model. Here we discussed about how to maintain a page object repository for each page. Then here we, in this we actually used explicit waits. Okay, by putting some expected conditions for each element, which is which that condition very much suits for that element. Okay. Then clean exit of driver. Then another important thing is reading properties file. Okay, so far if you see here, okay, if we go through any of these tests, home page test and login page test. Okay, see this URL in.mail.yahoo.com. Okay, then this title. Okay, and sign in page title. Okay, many values that are same throughout your suite or throughout your framework. Okay, we just hard coded them directly in the your test case. Okay, now it's time to pull all those uh, uh, variables, put them in properties file and use them wherever needed. Okay, for example, so suppose I know that the home page URL for me is in.mail.yahoo.com. Okay, suppose in future, for some reason, if this changes to in.mail1.yahoo.com, okay, then I need to go to all the test case, okay, here, if there are n number of test cases, I need to go to all the n number of test cases and do the edits, so which is a tough task. So we need to introduce a properties file which contains all the variables which are same throughout your framework. Okay, what I'll do, in my configuration itself, I'll create a new properties file. Okay, I'll name it config properties. Okay, you can give any name. Okay, config property or configuration dot properties. Okay, or driver dot properties, whatever you want. So in my conf folder, I have put this config dot properties. Here I'll give, okay, I'll name the home page URL equal to, then home page title equal to, what is the title? Then what are the other variables we used? Sign in page title, and this browser. Okay, like this. Okay, I have introduced a new properties file where I have added the all the properties which are nothing but key value pairs. Okay, so now I need to write a utility which reads values from this properties file. Okay, here I'll create a new class under utils. Okay, utils package, and I'll name it okay, I'll name it read properties util. Okay, okay, here what I'll do, I will create a new class, new method, read properties file. Okay, for now I'll make it public void. Okay, here I'll create a new properties object equal to new properties, then properties dot load. Okay, and I'll create a new file input stream, new file, I'll name okay, So that properties file, where is that properties file present? In your project root folder. Okay, under configuration, config.properties. So in your root folder there is conf folder. Inside conf folder there is config.ertas. Okay, right, it will throw file. If suppose for some reason if this file is not found, then this method throws file not found exception and IO exception. Okay, then so then what I'll do return props. I'm returning the properties object. Okay, I need to change the return type to properties. Okay, so what this method is doing is it's simply uh, reading all the properties from this file and loading those properties into this properties object and returning that properties object. Okay, now I'll create another method in it and uh, string get property. Okay, here what I'll do, props dot. Okay, it's time to declare this. Okay, I'll pass this. I'll make this properties object. I'll create this properties object outside. Okay, then here I am doing properties dot load. Okay, sorry. I'll make it void. I'll explain what I am doing. Okay, here what I'll do dot get property, and for this get property I need to pass the key for the property to which I need the value. Okay, string property name. Okay, I'll do this. Here what I'll do, I'll make this static. Okay, see, why do I need to make this static? First of all, okay, this this object and this method, I have made these two values static. Okay, and I have not made this value, this method as static. So as I explained, static is one per class, not one per object. Okay, suppose in your test there are suppose 10 tests are there. In every test you need to read your properties, then there you need to create object of this class for in all the 10 tests. Okay, suppose these two are not static, what we do is, so in 10 classes we create 10 different objects. Every time this this properties file is read again and again. Okay, the same properties file is being read in 10 classes because you have created one object in each class. Okay, that is not mandatory. Look, that is not, that is unnecessary. Okay, so ideally you read this properties file only once. Okay, then use that among all the classes. To achieve that, I did this. So as I have made this these two static, what it does is, so it this so as I told, static is one per class, not one per object. Even though if you create 10 objects, this will be executed only once. Okay, that means your properties file is read only once. But however, your properties are loaded, then you can call this method n number of times wherever you need to get property of your choice. Okay, that's why I have made static. I would have written without using the static also. In that case, what happens is, so if I create 10 objects in 10 different classes of this properties class, this read properties util class, the same file will be read 10 times. That is not needed. So that's why I need the properties value to be read only once. I have made them static. Okay, now it's time to go to home page tests. Okay, create object of your this class read properties util. Okay, this is the class. This is basically utility class which is used to read the properties. We need to import that. Now what I'll do, I'll using this object. Okay, here instead of hard coding the value of Chrome browser, what I'll do, dot get property. What is the name of the property? That is browser underscore name. See, if I go to this properties file, so browser name is the property name. Okay, what I'll do, I simply using this object. Okay, earlier I have hard coded this value with Chrome. Now I don't want to hard code. I need to read that value from property file. For that, what I need to do, just use the object of your properties file utility, read properties file utility, then call this method get property, to which we are passing the property name. Okay, see, so this returns props dot get property. Okay, this is okay. See, these two are same. So let me change this to get prop. Okay, so that okay, so this props, this is, there is a properties class, right? This this props is object of this properties class. So this properties class has already a method named get property, which is built-in method. Okay, I have not written this method. So when I call this method by passing any properties name, it simply returns the value of that property name. Okay, so same thing I did here, get prop. Okay, this is browser name. Similarly, for this, what I'll do, use the object of your utility, then call the get prop method that I have already written. What is the property name? Homepage URL. Sorry, here. Okay, homepage URL. This will simply return the homepage URL value. What is the homepage URL here? That is in.mail.com. Okay. Similarly, I need to change the values for other. Okay, actual expected title is dot get property. See, you need to pass that value or this property name in double quotes. Okay, this is done. Similarly, get browser Chrome. What I'll do, then driver dot get expected title, Okay, then Yahoo login, expected sign in page title. That is, what is the name of the property is sign in page title. Yeah, similarly for the third case, I need to copy and paste the, then I need to expected sign up page title is Yahoo. I'll change it to, okay. In this test also I'll quickly change the values. Okay, won't take much time. in.mail.yahoo.com. So I need to copy these two. Then there is Yahoo login. So email field is not found in login page title. Okay, then okay, I'm actually sending the values. So here I need to create the object. Okay, so I'm making this object as instance variable. Okay, that means you know what is an instance variable. Instance variable is a variable which is uh, declared inside a class but outside any method. Okay, if it is declared inside any method, that is local variable. It is declared outside all the methods inside the class, that means that is instance variable. That means that a value get is given memory as soon as the object of that class gets created. Okay, uh, since that is instance variable, that is accessible throughout all the methods present in the class. Okay, see this read properties file utility object, now I am using everywhere. Okay, here I just created one object. Okay, for this whole class I'm using the same object among all the methods. Okay, so now we are done, and there is one thing: password field, email field. Okay, these two values I have hard coded. Okay, let me um, pull them out. What is username? What is the password? Okay, now I'll for these tests also, what I'll do, instead of directly giving values, I'll use the uh, dot get prop. What is the name of the property? Username, or we'll name it email and password. Okay, this is email. Similarly, for password, instead of hard coding the value, I read the value from password. Okay, now let me run this test. Okay, we'll run this in debug mode. We'll see whether we are able to read this properly or not. So here first we are here. Okay, browser factory, then F6. See, driver. Okay, so something went wrong. Let me see what happened. What was the exception thrown? Check for remote testng, array list. Okay, null pointer exception is thrown. Let me see where it is thrown. Okay, browser factory in, okay, in login page test, line number 37, browser factory, line number 20. Okay. Did I copy the value properly? Okay, I'm putting another debug point in the page also. We'll run it in debug mode again. Sorry, login page test. Okay, if I click F6, it will go to next debug point. Okay, so here let's see. So this browser name is coming as null. Okay, that's why it is throwing exception. Okay, what is the property that I am using? We'll put a debug point over here. Browser name. Okay, and in log F6. Okay, null is equal to null. Okay, okay, very sorry. So actually I have created this method. I need to call this method at least once. Okay. Uh, what I'll do instead of doing this, um, uh, let me comment this out. I need to call this method. Then only the properties are loaded into this file. What I'll do, I'll create this constructor of this class. We know how to create that. That is public read properties utility. Okay, the constructor has same name as inside this. I'll put this line. Okay, or the other thing that I can do is okay, no problem. See, do it this way. Okay, I need to. I don't need to make it static also. Okay, let me make it simple. For initialization, actually, we need to create another class where we initialize all static variables. Okay, are called static methods. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to make it complex. I'll make it simple only. Mm, instead of throwing this, what I'll do simply add try catch block. So here itself, I'm going to handle this exception. If there is an exception, suppose if this file is not found, it will simply throw the file not found exception. Okay, if there is a file, but if some another exception is thrown, some IO exception is thrown, then this will print this. Okay, okay now run this in debug mode. 6. Okay, name of the property that we passed is browser name. Okay, so see, now we are able to read the property Chrome. So it will simply return Chrome driver for us since the value is Chrome. It's taking so much time. Okay, let me run this again. happened? It's trying to open Chrome browser window, but we have window right drivers. We have Chrome driver.exe here. Actually, we are successfully able to read the properties file. Only thing is this new Chrome driver should open a Chrome window. For some reason, it's not getting opened. Okay, Chrome driver. Right. Some issue with my Chrome browser. I'll quickly uninstall Chrome driver and Chrome browser and install it again.